Well, we've got, last but not least, holding a sign here. Someone's got to take their sign, Robert. Activist.
I'll bring it up with me.
Okay, that's great. Activist, filmmaker, artist, organizer, and founding member of Fossil Free Rhode Island, Robin Merrin.
So, thank you all for all the great things. It covered a lot of the stuff that I was going to say. So, I'm going to start out with the question put in Shakespearean terms: to be on nature's timetable or to be guilty of reckless, if not willful, endangerment of life on earth. That is the question. Yeah. But, governors, great challenges are also means that they're great opportunities. One of the things that didn't get discussed is what's called sea ice albedo, which means that when the polar caps melt, when the planet is not as closest to the sun, it's not reflecting that heat anymore. So that means it goes into the ocean and goes into the air. They were saying just 4 or 5 years ago that that was going to happen at 2100. Now they're saying it's going to happen in 2030 or the 2030s. So that's why we have to be fossil free by 2030, because when that happens, everything is changed. The planet is going to readapt in ways that we haven't imagined, because it hasn't this is not something that's happened. So, and all the carbon that we put up there now is up there. And all the methane that is leaking out of the pipelines and everything, that is accelerating it. What can be more insane than accelerating a fire that's about to burn your house down? That's essentially what we're doing. So Justin asked me to read the notes. There are points that are on a letter that's going around. We ask everybody, Lisa, raise your hand wherever you are. Somewhere, Lisa, can you come up? This has been online, but this was sent to the governor with already 13 groups in Rhode Island having signed on. And if you listen to the people talking here, these are not radical fringe ideas. These are basically what has to happen. So if the governor is going to be a climate leader, we are calling on her when she's in there talking to the other governors to tell them that this is what a climate leader means. To power all sectors of our economy, including transportation, 100% renewables by 2030. That's when the polar caps are gone. To reject all proposals for fossil fuel infrastructure, everything, pipelines, no more. To eliminate fracking and all forms of extreme extraction, such as mountaintop removal, mining, deep sea drilling, and tar sands, including its transport. Right. Yeah, you can write. To appoint a climate chief mitigation officer to facilitate the transition. How are you going to do it unless somebody's directing it? Yeah. I nominate Timmons. To divest from fossil fuels, and that's something we can all do. Your bank invests in fossil fuels, take the money out, write a letter to the board, tell them why you're doing it. Push Congress to fully fund research on climate change, fulfill the promise to the UN fund to support adaptation and mitigation by countries that didn't do anything to contribute this. It's not a political issue, it's a moral issue. And it's also a practical issue. And also to support funds for a just transition in our communities. All of these transition plans must have a social justice basis for them to work. And to our list, I wanted to add one from a new group, CACRI, Civic Alliance for a Cooler Rhode Island, that we must adapt all of our measures to consumption-based measures that account for all of the greenhouse gases, which includes methane and we do it for all sectors of the economy. That's actually wonky, but it's very, very important. They're skipping a lot of important stuff. Hope I didn't butcher that in summarizing it. The governor needs to be committed to rejecting all proposals for additional infrastructure, like the Burrillville power plant, like the LNG terminal down there at Fields Point, or the Spectra lines that are promised all through the Blackstone Valley. The thing that we've been fighting to have a heritage corridor forever, now we get that, and they're going to put fossil fuels through it, and they all leak. Every pipeline leaks. In fact, there's going to be there's a standing rock on the East Coast that is being set up near Burrillville. You're going to start to hear more about this. We need to start occupying these spaces. We need to be out there when they're moving the bulldozers in and stand in front of them and tell them, no, not in my state.
Not in my state.
Not in my country.
Not in my country.
Not in my world.
Not in my world.
So I just want to wrap up with a thing for you to answer, because this whole thing comes down to one thing. All fossil fuels, we have to keep it in the ground. So when those lobbyists in there are twisting your arms and Justin Trudeau is telling you to back tar sands, we tell them to what?
Keep it in the ground.
When they're talking about mountaintop removal, blowing the tops off of mountains, we say we want you to
keep it in the ground.
And when they say they're going to frack, sticking chemicals down into the earth, ruining our water, when we know water is life, we need this to live. What are we going to say?
Keep it in the ground.
Folks, we got to get serious about this, and we have to act now. Thank you very much.